everybody, this is Richie from the Metal Cell podcast. I'm delighted to welcome Axecatcher. All the members are here, lads. I'm truly honoured.
Super to be on, Richie. I think it was a long time in the coming. I think it was a good wee while. Evan sent us a message to get us on, and maybe slipped through the cracks on our side a wee bit, maybe. But stoked to be on.
So we have Ryan on guitar vocals, Colin on bass, backing vocals, and Chris on drums. Thanks for joining us again, lads. Evan, as usual, thank you, buddy. Good to see you.
Not a bother, man. Would have been talking to the lads anyway, so this is just might as well record it. Like,
yeah, do you know what? Like, I really had to see live to appreciate how fucking good you are. My God. Oh, my fucking God. That was just sensational down in Limerick on the Worn Out. Was that your second album launch as such? Like,
it was actually the first one that you got to do, like, down our side anyway. Like,
I think so. Yeah. We were whenever the album was coming out, we were trying to arrange some stuff, but that was just right in the thick of COVID stuff. So we did delay for a wee while, but we decided we needed to get it out there. Like, we all just got kind of sick of sitting on it, really. And there was no gigs going at the stage we released it. I think it was very unclear when stuff was going to start up again, so we just kind of fired it out there. But yeah, no, that would have been probably one of the first shows since we actually put it out, I think.
Yeah, wow. I think it was the first one, that Limerick show.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the end. It's off anyway.
you won over some amount of people that day, lads. Honestly, my God.
It's great to hear that. I think we definitely like to think of ourselves as a band that makes more sense kind of live than recordings. But it's always great to hear that back from people and get people saying, "Oh, I've seen the name kicking around. Haven't really listened to you that much, but enjoyed the set and stuff." So
that happens a lot. Like, as in, even in when we all played in Fibbers, there was people that come up to me being like, "Man, I heard of Axecatcher from ages ago, but they're so good." I'm like, I know. That's why I try to get them on as much as possible. Like,
I just dread ye following Axecatcher.
I know, but
that's it. Like, because I mean, I was just like, remember, we were having a discussion, right?
Yeah. When
I was roadie of Worn Out, driving up in the fucking happy bus with Ev and the two of us talking, and I was saying, I can't wait to see the lads live. And Ev was going to me, we deliberately put Axecatcher before us, so
gives us a kick up the arse.
Yeah, literally to kick up the arse. And after he finished playing, I remember just turning around to Alex because he was doing the merch stand, and I went, "Ha, follow that, baby."
But that's the thing. Like, there's no point in us getting like a band, like, because at the end of the day, like, we love Axecatcher. That's the first reason that we'll get on. And I think, like, we want people to hear ye so much. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, I think that was the first time we played with ye. Was that when you were a 4-piece, or had you just gone 3-piece?
Good question.
Oh, I don't know about that. I can't remember. Before my time, lads. So.
It would have been before Chris joined.
No, Chris wasn't in the band at that stage. I think you might have just gone 3-piece.
I think that's probably the case.
Yeah.
And where was that, lads? Was that up north, or was it down south, or where was it?
I think the first time we played G was probably Fibbers. I think upstairs.
It probably sounds about right. Yeah.
I can't remember exactly which one it was now, but I think.
And Colin, as a bass player, you're a fucking joy to watch.
Thank you very much.
Honestly, the way you play that, man, it's just fucking, because as I play bass myself, man, and I just was proper bassist. Homer Simpson.
Thanks very much for saying so, man. I just love trying to wrap it up, like.
Gorilla energy.
Put the boots to it, like that. That's it.
Put the boots to it.
And for that set list that you played in Dolan's that day, was that hard to come up with in relation to kind of past EPs and stuff, or did you go right from start to finish with the new album?
I think it was there's a decent track. There was maybe a couple of tracks on it we played which weren't on the album. I think the bulk of the stuff was off the album, but sometimes it's a little bit hard. We don't tend to really agonize too much over sets. We have a decent idea for we typically have an idea for songs that work good as an opener, or stuff that works good as an ender, and then I think most of the time just work in pairs. Really, we just do two songs, one that'll it's roughly in the same key or whatever, so they can run into each other. So you can leave a note hanging and jump into the next one, but we don't agonize too much over it, I think.
Just trying to get the flow going through the whole thing. That's more or less it.
Yeah.
Thanks as well. Like a lot of the album tracks we've had kind of in some form or another for a couple of years now. So like we've played most of those songs before. I think there's only a few that were like new live for the first time in that Limerick show. And they were some of the better tunes as well. I thought some of the ones that like went more smoothly. So like, it was good to get out again and good to get the new tunes out, definitely.
And where are you all based? Are you all living near each other, or what's the closest city?
No, unfortunately not.
Not at all.
Fuck, okay.
I'm in Belfast at the minute. Colin's Limavady, which is about an hour and a half drive away, and Chris is Strabane, which is probably an hour from Limavady. So a good couple of hours of driving between us all.
Where's rehearsal then?
Yeah.
At Chris's spot, yeah.
In my house, I just crawl out of bed and
Fucking drummers, eh? Jesus Christ.
We did for a wee while when we started playing with Chris. We were practicing in the Nerve Centre in Derry, the practice rooms in there. But I think I'm not sure if we decided to move to Chris's spot first, or they started not running the practice rooms again because of COVID. So that was probably before that, wasn't it? We probably just decided to play at Chris's. I think there was a few times when the Nerve was closed.
Yeah, it was just a lot more comfortable for us getting in the Chris's and getting settled in a lot faster, I think. And then COVID happened.
How was it finding Chris? Because I remember I'm trying to think now how like long the gap was from your last drummer. I can't remember his name now. Lovely dude. Danny, that was it, yeah. But I'm trying to think, like, maybe it's because of COVID, but like my concept of time is it's fucked. Like, you know, in my head, it's almost like Chris was always in the band, even though we've done plenty of gigs before Chris.
2017.
I think Danny left in 2015 and Chris was 2017. So there's a near 2-year gap where me and Ryan just spent completely writing the whole time, hoping for the best.
Yeah. No, it was a couple of years. Drummers are definitely a bit thin on the ground.
Did you have like start and stop with other people before? Was there other people that were trying out, or?
I think when Danny left, we did a little bit of trying to get someone in, and we had a couple of people get back to us, but nothing that ever kind of crystallized into actually being in a room with someone. You know, there was a little bit of talking and back and forth with some folks, but I think everyone, it took a while to actually get something properly solid.
A lot of people that were kind of talking to us about it, they were more based down where you boys are, and it just, you know, that's hard to work with. Us being up here, like, so
we manage that. Like,
you know what? I suppose, look, give a brief background of the band, the bio of the band, because there's obviously loads of people going to be watching this and not having a clue about how long you're going. Like, I mean, 2012, was it?
So something probably around then, yeah. So we probably started in 2012, maybe a little shade earlier than that. It would have been myself, Colin, and Danny, the old drummer, playing. I think maybe for a few weeks or months we were calling ourselves Bear Down, as opposed to Axecatcher, and then the Axecatcher name came about because we were using the Bear Down name, and I think the first 8 out of 10 people we told that name to, they were like, "What?"
Yeah, I think it was a placeholder because we had one show and we needed a name for one show, and then that was it. We came up with Axecatcher then.
Great name.
So off the back of that, we were playing as a 3-piece, me, Colin, and Danny. For I'm a little unsure about time frames. I probably should have had that checked out. But we were playing for a few years, and then we got Carson to do vocals. Initially, I was doing vocals just because we didn't have anyone else to do it, really. I think we always wanted to get a vocalist in. So I ended up doing it just because as much as we wanted to get a vocalist in, we wanted to be out playing shows more. So then, a couple of years went past, and then we got chatting with Carson, who joined, and No, that was a big kick up the hole for the band. I think he brought a really nice. His delivery is really, really unique. I still can't think of many other vocalists that kind of sound like he did, and he would have been bringing a lot more influences from other kind of styles that we wouldn't have been as familiar with. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we were trucking along with a couple of years with that lineup, and then I think it was a combination of Carson and Danny both had to kind of step back at the same time. I think for Carson, he was going to uni in Leeds, so practice and gig schedules were going to be harder. And then Danny was I can't remember the exact reasoning, but I think he needed to pick up extra part-time work, which ended up being bar work, which just wrote off pretty much every weekend. So that was more not really that doesn't really help for practice and gigs and stuff. But no, it was all very nice between the guys. There's no bad blood or anything. Those guys kind of took a step back of their own accord. And then, yeah, once Danny had left, we like we said there was a couple of years where we were trying to get a drummer in, and just couldn't really get anyone. And then, Chris, was it someone you know put you onto us, or? Yeah,
I saw you at the Monsters of Rot in Enniskillen.
Yes.
And then I kind of followed you after that. And then a friend of ours, Kieran, who I worked with at the time, he said you were looking for a drummer. And I was like, well, I've got nothing else going on, so I'll give the boys a shout. And that was pretty much it. I think like we had one kind of like audition or whatever, and halfway through the lads were like, do you want to be the drummer? And that was that.
And what was your background, Chris?
I've been in a few bands over the years. I came to Ireland about 8 years ago, and I didn't really dive into the scene straight away. Just didn't have time, had other stuff on, but like I've always been playing, and like live music's always been, you know, like a passion and something that, you know, like it's a hobby. It's what else are you going to do with your weekends, you know? And yeah, like I was really lucky to find Axecatcher because it's pretty much exactly the type of music I want to be writing, and like the lads are just like so tight together. And even with me, I think we were in the studio about 4 or 5 weeks after I joined doing the first single, so it was a really quick kind of back in.
Yeah, one quick. Yeah. We got you in there.
Yeah, just straight in, no leaving now. You're on record. Like,
no fucking about, boys.
Yeah. Was there any kind of points, like, you know, from, we'll say, going from 2012, did you say, to nearly 2015 or 17 or whatever? Like, was there any points where you were like, is this going to happen? You know, like, was it kind of left on the back burner for a while, or were you still going in like determined, being like, whatever length of time this takes, it takes, but we're still, Axecatcher is still a thing, like, you know, it didn't kind of fade out?
Yeah, I think that was kind of the thought whenever we were starting to kind of see how awkward it was going to be to find someone to step on drums. There was a little bit of discussion me and Colin had, and we were like, is it worth keeping the Axecatcher stuff, or do we scrap stuff and start a new band and things? I think we were reluctant to do that just because we'd put a lot into the Axecatcher stuff. I think that last EP we recorded with Carson and Danny with Aidan, the Common Blood EP. I think we'd got that, and we'd got a good amount of shows off it and good reception. So we're like, yeah, we've got a bit of a sound going and stuff. Although after Chris joining, I think we definitely did spend a bit of time, and we kind of just jettisoned the whole set when Chris joined. I think we just decided, yeah, you know, if it's that significant a lineup departure, new singer and new drummer, and kind of different influences from us guys, you know, me and Colin have definitely moved on a decent bit from the kind of stuff we would have been writing, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago to now. I think it just made sense to, just scrap the set and start again on it. But yeah, we always did kind of want to keep with it. The idea was there of scrapping stuff and starting again, but I think we were a bit reluctant to do that, given how much we'd all put in on it.
Yeah, in my head the whole time I was just like, we put too much work into this. I don't want to let this die. It's too cool, and I enjoy it too much. You know what I mean? So we just wanted to keep at it, keep the faith, keep our nuts, and it worked out in our favour, I think.
I think it's just incredible that you got Chris in literally And it must be just really hard, as you mentioned, Ryan, and we've said it a few times, Evan, just to get a fucking drummer, first of all, and then for him to be able to gel so well with you.
That's it, yeah. No, definitely, like, Chris definitely took up the challenge pretty quick there. It was, we definitely threw a lot at him, and there was definitely a lot of, because by the time we got him, me and Colin had been writing stuff for a couple of years, so we already
That's what I was thinking. You've already done so much work and almost found a new area that you want to go down, like a new avenue, a new sound that you were kind of like had so much time to focus in on, that it's it's not like, here, learn this last EP we did. It's here's a list of stuff that no one's heard or ever played before. So get on it. We're recording in 2 days. Like,
no, there definitely was a bit of that. Yeah, like those guys said, it was 4 or 5 weeks till he did that first single, which was thankful we got through it. To be honest,
was that Chris's appearance? The Grey Takes the Gold. Was that
Grey Takes the Gold? Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That
cool.
would have been the first one Chris was on. So yeah, we definitely wanted to write something just a bit chunkier. We didn't quite have something together for an EP at the time. But we wanted to write something a bit more substantial and kind of a decent point of reference for where we'd be, the kind of stuff we'd be chipping away at for the next while. Yes. I think it does a good job of that.
So you then went with Niall Dorn instead of Aidan for that Secondhand Grief EP. Like, is he a friend of the band, or?
No, well, yes, yes, no.
He is
no, he's not a friend. He's a nemesis of the band. No, we didn't know Niall at all. When we went into the studio, we'd always been conscious of the kind of stuff that was coming out of Start Together. And I think a couple of albums, I might be wrong, but I think the one that always sticks in my hand is So I Watch From Afar, Gangs, I think, was done there.
Yeah.
And that was a big album for me. That was one of the first albums I kind of heard out of the North in general. I was like, whoa, this is a real band making real music. So they're always kind of on our radar. I think for the other stuff, we've gone to Aidan on the basis of the man's just a magician, and he knows every single point of reference for the kind of music that we're trying to make. You just say a band name or a sound off a song, and he's like, oh yeah, I know that.
He's an encyclopedia, to be fair to him. Like,
100%.
Makes shit tea though.
Yeah, I think there was I think so. I can't remember if we maybe tried to book Aidan, but he was booked up for like the guts of a year when we were going to do that, or if we just want to start together to. We do want to spread stuff around a bit to just work with different people and see how other people make you sound. It's all very well and good being a band with your own sound, but a lot of the recording stuff does come down to the actual people that are working with, how it gets recorded and what kind of ideas they have. So it's definitely nice to branch out every now and then and see what see what other people can do for you. But it was really, really great to start together. We maybe went down a wee bit half-cocked with we probably could have had stuff figured out a wee bit more, tempo changes and stuff, but Niall was great to work with, and they have all lovely stuff up there. I still think particularly the bass sound he got on that EP is really, really, really good.
There's an absolute
really nice. I like that one.
And what about you, Chris? Had you recorded before up to that point with other bands, or was this your first time going into a proper studio?
It's mostly been like DIY stuff. Like I was in a DIY punk band in Liverpool, and that was the last time we did any kind of recording. But that would just be kind of a few microphones, no click track, just count to 4 and off we go. Like real rough and ready kind of stuff. But no, we went to someone in Derry, small town America, to do the Grey Takes the Gold, and that's a big, massive room, so the drums just sound huge in it. And then like Start Together is just like a drummer's dream. They've just got this room with like loads of kits just piled up, and they're like, pick what you want. It's like, it's like Christmas. Like,
I've seen a lot of videos and even live in studio videos of Start Together.
Yeah.
The place looks awesome. Like I know, like the stuff that Two Glass Eyes did there. They might not be a massive band, but for some reason the sound on those recordings is one of my favorites ever. There's something so punchy about them. yeah, the live studio stuff that they've done in Start Together. I was actually watching one yesterday or today when Godmother did theirs, and it's just so good. Like,
that's a really, really good vid. I think when they came over here, when they were playing with folks over here, I remember catching that. I assume they did that when the last time they were over. They probably did that at Start Together.
Yeah, that was when they were doing it with the Linkus as well.
Yes.
So with the release of the second-hand Grief EP, how was it like gig-wise free? Can you remember back? What that was like kind of, I suppose 2019, was it, lads, at this stage?
It's pretty good. We typically have pretty good luck for shows. We don't do a huge amount of kind of chasing. We're very lucky in that regard that we definitely tend to get offered a decent amount of stuff. I think with that in particular is maybe starting to slow down around secondhand Grief. Just off the back of I think a couple of the guys that we would have been friendly with around Dublin that would have been getting us a few shows. The Hall of Truth, all those guys, all that particular era of Dublin hardcore guys. They did a lot of good for us and put on a lot of shows. Those guys, and then I think the Hall of Truth stopped, and then they started as Flashpoint, and then that also stopped for a while. While those were going, those guys kind of hooked us up a lot, and then similar up north, we got a decent amount of shows out of the Warzone Centre in Belfast. And now that's closed down, that's an avenue that's closed. I think particularly in Belfast, especially now with the kind of promoters and venues, it's very much there's not a huge amount going on, and there's a hell of a lot of bands kicking about. So it's well,
like, did you get across to the UK much? Did Chris come in? Any contacts there, Chris? Were you able to you call upon to get you across?
I've got a few. We haven't ventured that way yet. Definitely on the list of stuff to do. There's definitely a few people I can hit up anyway, and I think like the lads went over years ago as well. I think you know a few people still, don't you? So it's definitely on the list. It's just a matter of when we get there.
Imagine now Razor Sharp, Death Blizzard, and Axecatcher, and Worn Out. Oh man,
we're playing with Razor Sharp.
I saw,
Glasgow, right? Yeah.
Am I allowed to say it now? Yeah.
Oh no, it's out. Yeah. Richie, I don't know if you knew about that.
I got the fucking daggers off it, man.
Richie fucking nearly blew our UK tour announcement on a live stream, and I was like, I can't even remember what question I asked someone anyway if they were going to the UK, and Richie's like, "Oh, you have." And I'm like,
yeah. And then I was trying to backpedal frantically.
Yeah, didn't do a great job. I was like, I might go over for a holiday. Yeah, and you were like, oh no, come on, you have it all booked. And I think it was after that you realised, and you're like, anyway, what's the next song? And I'm like, fuck's sake. It was literally a matter of days before we announced it. Though,
it was, yeah. I'm sure I was all excited because in my mind I was going over to, where was it? Just outside Edinburgh. For a romantic
Glasgow,
weekend away to
or Inverness.
Inverness, with my wife, who didn't know that happened, that Worn Out were playing the same weekend, but needless to say,
it was going to be a massive coincidence.
It was going to be a massive coincidence, but unfortunately, I gave her the choice of Inverness or Malaga, and guess which one she chose. Never a good idea.
So we booked the show in Malaga.
No, it's getting across the water is definitely something that we're keen to. It's just need to free up a bit of time. I think it's already hard enough trying to organise practices and writing and all that crap, just with everyone working and being so spread out. That and just getting leave for work's a bit of a pain for us. But no, that is going to be on the cards. I think at the minute we were over the past couple of months just kind of focusing on getting back to being gig ready. I think now we're focusing. We want to do another video or two for the stuff off that album, give it a little bit of a proper send off, and then going forward from then probably start writing and looking at putting something together like that. I think.
How do you assemble your gear? Have you got a van or a car? What kind of way do you get around?
Just cars. I think we've been pretty lucky over the past while. We haven't really needed to bother with much bringing backline to many shows at all. To be honest, we've been playing with the worn out fellas the last couple, and they're lugging everything with them. So.
We do the stressing for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's we're relatively light footprints, as long as you don't have to bring cabs or whatever. Chris gets himself down, and I normally lift Colin, and then it's just our cars. There's a couple of guitars, a couple of heads, and a pedal bag, and Chris is his breakables really. So I think we're pretty well off in that regard. We at least have the 2 cars between us, so we can do most things.
Yeah, it's great, man. And how quickly did the songwriting come together for your debut LP, which is Toot Over Claw?
Depends on the song, really. I think some of them definitely came together faster than others. There's definitely some things you write where you get a decent idea from, you hear an opening riff and you have a decent idea of what the progression of the song is, and sometimes you'll finish a part and be like, okay, the next bit obviously goes like this, and other times it's a little bit harder. But I think for the most part there wasn't a huge pile that we got particularly stuck on. It was a little bit hectic towards the end when it was coming up to actually recording time, because I think when we booked it, we had hit Aidan up to get in, and he was chewed up for, I think he had a good 8 or 9 months booked up, and then he had a cancellation came up fairly short notice, so we were expecting to be recording, and we got to half a year's time, and then he was like, could you do it in a like a month and a half or whatever? And we're like, we can try. we can try and get this stuff finished off. So, but
wasn't it just after that the first lockdown proper hit? Just after we recorded, maybe like a week or two. Like we just recorded that, and then like a time.
It was January 2020. I think it was the first week in January that we were down there, and it was just starting to hit the news that there was like some virus in China, and then I think we were about 2 weeks into the lockdown when we got the first masters back from Aidan, and it was
Jesus,
like, what are we going to do with it now?
If we didn't record that album then, we wouldn't have got to record that for I don't know how long. Like so long.
Yeah, because I remember when we were recording when did we do it? It was either October or November. I can't remember.
Just a little before or something like that.
Yeah, it was just a little, and I remember Aidan was saying that ye would be in January or whatever, and I was just already because I don't think he hadn't actually really announced anything or put anything up specifically. So when I knew there was new Axecatcher, I was like, oh fucking yes.
yeah. We were hoping to kind of stay low a wee bit and then have the album out and be able to do some shows around it, but that just didn't quite pan out, unfortunately. So. But I think we were sitting on the recorded stuff for the best part of a year at least before we got stuff out. We were just holding on, pushing things back. But
and when did you do the video? We'll say, because
that would have been we planned it originally for the end of summer in 2020, and then I think someone got COVID, so we pushed it out a few weeks, and then there was like local lockdowns and stuff because the case numbers here were like through the roof. So it ended up being January 2021. when we got the video done, and that was another thing. We didn't want to release the album until we had like a video to promote it, and
of course,
that just kept getting delayed and delayed. Just like every time we booked something, it'd get cancelled 2 weeks later. So, like as soon as we had the video ready, it was like, right, when should we release? And we kind of just put together a plan over like the next kind of 2 months to be like, right, this will be the release date. We'll drop the video here. We'll drop some merch here. You know.
Like, were you all agreed upon the date for the album release? And why I'm asking, because like I went through all the drama with Evan, and like we'd meet Evan regularly and just go, Evan, what's the story? Please, are you going to release it? No, I'm fucking not. I have the video done. I have everything done. We're holding on. And I mean, you were tormented
to everybody too. Like,
you were tormented.
Yeah,
from it, like you were, like
100%. Like I completely understand. What I was going to ask is, was there much talk of pushing it back more, kind of seeing what happened, or were you kind of at a stage like what the Scratch did, we'll say, and they were just like, fuck it, here you go? Because there was benefits. There's, benefits and negatives from releasing during lockdown, as in benefits would be there's nothing else that people were doing. You know,
Yeah.
there was no live gigs, but that's all. You know, on a Friday when it comes out, the only thing you can really do is sit at home and listen to music anyway, compared to if there was 500 things on that can kind of distract you. Like, what kind of positives and what negatives did you find from the time that you released it?
I think we were kind of thinking around the same. I don't think it's too out there to say, but I don't think we do a fantastic job of the kind of online promotion stuff. I think we're definitely a bit. I don't think any of us enjoy the social media routine really. So we were definitely. I at least always like to think that we have a much better showing in person just than promotion stuff.
Yeah,
so we definitely were holding on to do some shows to promote the thing from that perspective. But as it dragged on, we were starting to weigh up the thoughts of putting it out during lockdown, and would it be that bad to not be able to gigs alongside it? Pretty much exactly for the reason you said yourself. There wasn't a huge amount of music coming out. Wasn't a huge amount of music coming out from other people, and everyone's already in the house and listening to stuff. But then at the same time, it's hard to know how that weighs up when you start doing the digital kind of release strategy stuff. You're up against fucking Metallica, like you can't. You know, anyway, everyone's on Spotify and stuff, and every band on the planet is on Spotify, and you're suddenly fighting for attention against all the big names, and even not just Spotify stuff, any kind of listening to stuff online. I think that's definitely something that can come up against, especially if people aren't for the people that would be following local bands and stuff, they'll be more inclined to check out a local band and check out something new. But the average metalhead just wants to listen to something that they think's good, and if you're there against fucking like you're all any big band on the planet, it's definitely a lot harder sell, or at least it feels that way.
It's always weird.
Colin?
Sorry,
Colin, what would be your opinion on that?
I personally felt like we were kind of waiting on things for, we were really, it was every 2 weeks, we'll hold off another 2 weeks, we'll hold off another 2 weeks, another 2 weeks. Okay, right, finally, fuck it. Right, we need to do something here because we're losing our fucking minds. We were obviously seeing like other people, like as Evan said, people were figuring out over time during lockdown, stuff's happening. We can make this work. And then I think eventually it was get it the fuck out there. Just get it out there. See what people think. It was definitely a wee bit out of our comfort zone kind of thing.
Yeah.
But because we were really waiting for these shows coming around the corner, just get back out there and like put the power in it kind of thing. But no, I think it all worked out kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Feel the same, Chris?
Yeah, pretty much. Like the like holding out for shows and stuff was just like taken out of all of us, I think. And then around this time last year, it was obvious that we weren't going to do any shows in 2021. So it was a matter of, do we release it now or do we wait until January next year to put it out? And like I was already like, I hate sitting on stuff. As soon as I've got the masters, I'm like, I want it out there. I want people listening to it. So like, definitely, like I think we just played it by ear, and then when it reached a point where it was like, right, we're not actually gaining anything from just sitting on it anymore. Let's put it out there, and we'll worry about shows and stuff when they happen. Like, so yeah, like I'm happy that it came out when it did, and I think we got a decent kind of push anyway for that first kind of month after it was released. Like it seemed to have quite a lot of like natural listens, and there were places picking it up that we hadn't sent it to, like
which was funny to observe.
No clean singing.
Yeah, it was just for that happening, for the like almost like the first time for us, just to sit back and see coming in. That was good to kind of observe happening, I think.
Yeah,
I was going to actually ask what, like, because when you release new music, because of the internet, it's amazing how far it can travel. But like, what I was wondering is, like, is there anyone that you weren't expecting that either posted about it or you heard had listened to it, or you know, was anyone like of any notoriety to ye that you found had heard was listening to any of your stuff? Because I love asking bands that, because you'd be surprised who finds small bands from Ireland often, you know.
Yeah, I think the No Clean Singing review was a surprise to all of us, like, because I think we all follow that page anyway, and we all like hold their opinion highly, and like they did a great review on us, and it was like, how the fuck did they even hear of us? Like, you know, so like that was definitely one for me that stood out.
Yeah, okay. No, yeah, I can't remember too much of the press at this stage. It was a couple of years ago now, but yeah, that's probably the one that rings out for me. The No Clean Singing blog. That was a win on a feather in the cap, definitely.
Okay, so we'll give a blast to Swarm. And, that's track 4, is it? I think it is.
So, yep.
Yeah.
I'd imagine bands always go into producers and engineers going, listen, we want to get this song to sound exactly like we sound live. Fucking, there you go.
No, yeah, Aidan is a magician for that kind of stuff. Yeah, he definitely is able to get the kind of the raw sound very good. He's good at getting the room sound out, even though you're not necessarily playing live when you're tracking stuff. He's got a real good ear for that kind of thing.
That cowbell is always my favorite.
Yeah, it's great.
I love it. Good.
Had to get it in somewhere. Had to get it in.
Is that actually up there in the studio, Evan? That cowbell, or is it? Or?
No, that's Chris's. That's your
I thought
cowbell.
Aidan actually had a cowbell that.
No.
Wouldn't that be class?
That's far too silly from
let's
his caliber.
The lyrics there for that one: we owe nothing to the past, no debt, no pound of flesh. Still here, can't bury us. Still here. Is that about ye as a band?
A little bit. It's I kind of maybe. I find when I'm writing lyrics, I maybe can err a little bit too much on the side of getting very specific and using a lot of kind of metaphor and simile stuff. So A lot of the stuff on the new album, I definitely tried to kind of dial that back a bit. I think maybe the inspiration for that one initially was just like legacy Troubles stuff. I think there were some headlines going around up here about something related to Troubles things. So that was that was the initial inspiration of it, and then I kind of vagaried it out a little bit more, so it's a bit more broad, so people can kind of read whatever they want into it. But I think that was if I remember correctly, I think that was the initial inspiration for that one.
Yeah, it's the song as well, The Drowning, Empty Chest, Empty Glass, which is on the back of my t-shirt as well. I'm not in hell yet, but I'm treading the path. Brilliant.
No, that's just again, that was another. I think the initial when we were just listening back to that, I think the first riff is just it's a party riff. So
yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
So I think the song's a bit of a riff on the kind of drinking culture that we have here. I don't think everyone's got a mate who just goes to the bottle or whatever when stuff goes back, or does it themselves. It's very easy to do that. So, and I think it's a shared experience kind of across the country a lot. I don't think there's many people who either can't sympathize with that or know someone who can sympathize with that. So I think again that was the broad inspiration, and then I tend to just kind of have an idea at the top and run from there. Sometimes I try and keep things so that it's all more or less related. Sometimes I don't do a great job of that, but I think for those ones they're pretty concise and keep the idea going. I think a lot of the time I like looking at the words I'm writing and stuff that's just like nice turns of phrase rather than trying to communicate a particular message and then massage the stuff around it to make the cool sentences and cool in context or make sense in context rather. But yeah.
Am I getting feedback there off one of the mics? Okay, we'll continue. As I said, I should be able to edit it out.
Okay.
I love editing. Oh, yes. But I want to play one more song as well. Engines to Dust. It's actually one of my favorite songs, so I'm being selfish.
Break down, 'cause I can't for more.
as Evan would say, sick. Like, what you think of the scene down south? Like, I mean, we had some fantastic releases this year, including obviously Waste by Worn Out, Baylor as well, Disposable Youth.
Yeah, no, the scene down south is really, especially for the kind of style, kind of metallic-y hardcore stuff that we do. There's definitely, I think, a lot more representation for that down south. Between the Worn Out and Baylor guys, there's not really a huge amount of that style. Kind of even just hardcore bands up north. Really, there's a handful kicking about, but there's definitely more of a for that kind of more metallic stuff. There's definitely a bit more representation down south. I don't know if it's a numbers thing. I don't know if there's just there's more people down south. I don't know if that's just there's more likely to people who are into that or not. But,
yeah, you've got like No Great Loss and Embrace Execution.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what else I'm going to get my fucking head kicked in if I don't mention everyone. My brain's fucked. But yeah, they're like, again, like I'm thinking of the War Demise guys, but like that's more grind and stuff. But they're fucking sick.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of variety up in Northern Ireland in relation to, we'll say, metalcore, like Survivalist, or the other lads,
Archives,
yeah. And then you've got like a great metal scene, you have a doom, you have a sludge scene. I mean, Nomadic Rituals, for example. So like
Elder Druid.
Yeah, there's just like so many bands that you could kind of play with that would work well on a bill that needn't necessarily all be hardcore.
I think fuck the whole every band having to be of the same.
No, it doesn't work as much.
I think, like, don't get me wrong, I understand doing it, but I think a lot of people that kind of give out, or like if they were like, oh, they sound nothing like each other, it's like, yeah, but like I think sometimes people, it's almost like they diminish the intelligence of people that listen to certain type of music by pigeonholing, well, this is all the one thing, whereas like you could see my Spotify and realize that like I'm 10 different people. Do you know what I mean? Where it's some of it's nowhere near heavy as well, so it's nice to have bills that are like they have those kind of divergent paths in them, you know, because you're getting
I love playing mixed bills. Playing mixed bills like that's there's a promoter recently that actually asked us, do you guys mind playing mixed bills or whatever? It's just, no, that's we love that because you get about everything. Everybody's happy.
Yeah,
100%.
You win over new audience as well, which is that's the whole game, isn't it? Really, I mean, you can play to your fans, fair enough. I mean, what's your typical Axecatcher fan in general? What would you say, lads? I mean,
this guy right here.
Good question.
I'd say
we just want to keep putting ourselves in front of new eyes, and mixed bill shows are optimal for that kind of thing. Well, we're down for that anytime.
Yeah.
It's like having the idea, you know, like an all day kind of thing. Like you're going to have different types of bands, and people that want to see them will come, and they might have their eyes open to something else. And, you know, rather than, again, there's nothing wrong. Sometimes I do want to just go and listen to hardcore or whatever. But yeah, I don't think people should be afraid and think, oh, I can't have them on it for X, Y, and Z. It's like, if you do it, it's done. So you really can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just, I think people give themselves preconceived, oh, I can't do that. It's like, well, do it, and then you can, you know?
100%, yeah. I think we're pretty happy to be on mixed bills, because I think we float around a lot of kind of subgenres, really. There's wee bits in our stuff, there's wee bits of hardcore, there's wee bits of just straight up old heavy metal stuff, and kind of a lot of stuff in between. So I think we're pretty comfortable on mixed bill stuff. And yeah, like the guys said, we really just enjoy playing it. It's always nice to get in front of new people who, it's exciting to get in front of people who don't know what they're doing and they're kind of just looking at you with the arms folded. And by the end of the set, people are moving a wee bit. That's always a nice feeling.
In our head, like we aren't setting out to write, oh, this needs to be a metallic hardcore song or whatever. If it's a good riff, it's a good riff, and we'll fit it in. And if it works, it works.
Yeah.
And you know that's just for a mixed bill show or whatever. That's bringing the eyes to it.
Yeah.
The ears to it, everything.
Because I mean, like ultimately with a mixed metal show, it sparks dialogue amongst fans to talk about the band that they've seen. Oh, I normally would never go to one of those shows, yet I saw Axecatcher in Dolan's and fucking hell, they were amazing. And that's old school, the way you would talk about it to your mates and stuff. You'd be texting them and stuff, and suddenly they're listening to you and going, "Wow, Jesus, never even knew of them." And
yeah, it's like tape swapping. Like.
Yeah, it is very much so, and it's so easy. Then it's on your fingertips, on your phone. Just fucking go into Bandcamp or Spotify, and you have the likes of E there, and
yeah,
you know.
I think because with metal in general as well, it's like it is seen as like the outcast kind of music, and then when you're getting inside it, there's fucking outcasts of outcasts, and it's like, you know, everyone seems to have the same story of being bullied at school for having long hair and listening to a certain type of music, but you know, will have no issue fucking shitting on someone else if they do something different. It's like, whatever, man.
Yeah. There definitely is an element to metal in general where there is something to be said for it being, you know, the outcast genre and the music for weird people. But I think a lot of people can get sucked into that idea of it really, really, really hard. And then, you know, it's the kind of people who will suddenly turn their nose up and some band they like starts getting popular and stuff like that. There definitely is a wee element of that.
People are very precious of metal because I feel like it's almost like it was the only thing some people had for so long. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's a lot, not to like a generalized thing, but I guess, you know, there's a lot of times that people even growing up that if you're listening to it, it's considered different, that you might have been in some way bullied or kind of sneered at or whatever for it. So whereas I'm kind of like, I want as much people to get into it, especially if they're going to start bands and get involved in a scene or whatever, that fucking come on in, man. The water's fine. Like,
100%.
Yeah. Okay, lads, I'm going to wind it down. Chris, Colin and Ryan, absolute pleasure to talk to you, and crucially, a pleasure to actually see you play live, man. It was something I'm looking forward to experiencing again, and hopefully
100%.
soon.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Can't wait to get back down, man.
We'll definitely get something arranged. No, thanks a lot, Dave, for having us on, guys. That was a real nice chat, and we were looking forward to that for a good few months there. So happy to get that out of the way, get it done.
Okay, brilliant. Check out Axecatcher on social media. They have a fantastic range of merchandising. Myself and Colin are wearing it. And what else, lads? There's nothing new coming up. It's just mainly gigs now for the next few months for you, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully have something video wise maybe. Over the next couple of months' time. But we're still planning that. But hopefully something pretty soon.
Keep myself and Evan in the loop anyway for that. We gladly
100%.
promote it.
I'll force my way into the loop on that. Like, I will find out.
So that's it. You've been listening to Chris, Colin and Ryan of Axecatcher. Thanks again, Ev, for joining it and setting the whole thing up. And crucially, support your local metal scene.